I am Dave Chambliss with Abraxas Business Services, and I am thrilled to stand here this morning and say hello. TAG FinTech is a society that was spawned from the fertile mind of Mr. John Hayes, who approached Tino Mantella about 15 or 18 months ago with the idea for an industry society. Tino asked me to get involved, and I, in turn, got a couple of our TAG Finance Society board members involved, especially Don Campbell of Virtual Management Technologies. We collaboratively decided that it was a great space for a special interest group, and that it should have its own entity. And so we at TAG Finance simply provided a petri dish in order for it to develop. There are a number of folks whose efforts were instrumental in the development, but before I say anything about those folks here for just a second about the people who got this going, the first person really needs to be Deborah Cox, who continues to stand at the back door and ringleader herself here. Without Deborah and unbelievable hours, we wouldn't be standing here today. John Yates. Very nice. John Yates helped us identify key leaders in the industry. Mark Johnson was the person who invited them all to a meeting just this past October. We formed a steering committee, developed a mission statement, and we were, as they say, off to the races. I'd like to very quickly just recognize the steering committee members. So if you're one of the steering committee members, would you please just stand up? These are the folks that are responsible for us being here this morning. Now, today's event, the panels, the thought leadership that went into developing what the message would be that we would put out today, really the hero of that has been Sean Banks of Total Technology Ventures. Sean, thank you, sir. Truly an incredibly nice job. We're here today to celebrate Georgia's leadership in the FinTech industry, and there's no one more emblematic of that success and that leadership than Jimmy Blanchard, who will be here today with his wife, Sis, to be recognized, giving us his observations of the industry from an amazing catbird seat at the Federal Reserve Bank. Rich Oliver is going to give us our keynote speech today at lunch. We couldn't have moved, though, from the concept to an active organization without financial support, the support of our charter gold sponsors. The effort to secure the sponsorship from these leaders in the payments space was led by Kevin Lee of the Atlanta Payments Group. And candidly, in all of my volunteer work, I've never seen anyone coalesce a group of sponsors quite like Mr. Lee did. We have 9 charter sponsors. They include Equifax, Elevon, First Data, Fiserv, TSYS, Raymond James, Porter Cadle Moore, Nelson Mullins, Scarborough and Riley, and the Trade Credit Association of the United States. So thank you very much to those gold sponsors. They are going to be instrumental in us getting our traction and moving forward into the future. So let's get started. Here to lead us off is Tino Mantella, who has shown himself, actually, to be a star in his work in developing the Technology Association of Georgia.
Good morning. It's great to see a full house here. I think if there's people that still don't have seats Again, raise your hand. There's some seats around, so please have a seat. Dave, first of all, thanks to you for your leadership. Those of you that don't know Dave as well as I do, we've been working together now for about 5 years, maybe more. And Dave came in before we had a TAG Finance Society. And after a couple of conversations, he took a leadership role and really helped to build that along with Don and John and a great group of people. And then when John Hayes called a couple of years ago, we brought Dave in since it was so closely aligned with TAG Finance. And after several meetings, those two and then others joined in. They spent a lot of hours figuring out what was the best way to drive the new society. And certainly with Deborah's help and Don and a number of other people that Dave mentioned, and the whole steering committee, this has been a success story for TAG and for, more importantly, for the community. And we really appreciate your work, Dave, and all your work over the years. It's been a great, I know it's been a labor of love, and sometimes just a labor maybe, but we appreciate all your leadership and that of those that helped to start this and get it going. For those that don't know TAG, as well as some do, we have now 27 societies, and there's about 3 more on the drawing board. And don't call right away if you want to start a society, because now we're getting calls about once a week for people that want to start all kinds of different societies, and it's really interesting. Some are right spot on, and others it's like, do you have the right number? You're sure you want to call TAG about this? But it's great. Now every one of those societies drive activity, and this year we'll have over 200 meetings. Not all is with the prowess of this one. The impact of this one, but we'll have 200 meetings and over 15,000 people attending those meetings. So TAG has been really the instrument behind TAG's growth is from membership from 1,400 members less than 4 years ago to now 11,200 at last count, has been the work of the society. So it's great. Couple things that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. First of all, as Dave said, this is being filmed today, this program, and you can find it on TAG TV, tagtv.com. We have many of our programs on there. Frank Bai, as partner of Global Speak, has been a great partner, and so this is something you can watch later on or send it out to others to view, and hopefully this will be a real nice thing that'll go viral, and we'll get a lot of activity on that. Secondly, at your place, there's a brochure like this that's the first, and you're the first group actually to see this. It's our Where Georgia Leads program. And just quickly on this, I don't want to spend a lot of time up here, but I do want to say that TAG has been really pushing to have, if we say we're government-facing, we've been pushing to have the government look at areas in the state where we actually do have a leadership position, with the philosophy that if we lead in that area, that it makes sense to put more energy and more focus in this area. And I like to say the sensible versus sometimes the sexy. We tend to drift off and say, well, we want to do this. And we say, well, we lead here in FinTech. You'll see all the companies here. We're in the, some say if it's payment processing, #1 in the nation. I believe that to be the case. And in financial technologies, it's #3 in the nation and growing. If your company's not on here and should be, please let us know. Melanie Brandt, where's Melanie? Our COO, she's in the back. So let Melanie know or let me know or just email TAG and we'll make sure we have a conversation with you. If you're on there for some reason you don't think you should be, let us know that as well. We are also doing these programs in the area of health, which we have a summit tomorrow with 500 people attending. And then we also are doing it in telecom and security, and those are the 4 that we're starting out. And we want to show both inside the state and outside the state that we really do have a major presence in these areas, and therefore we've created a cluster, and therefore we think we can build on those clusters. In March, these will be rolled out interactively, and we'll have a program where you can actually scroll over your name, and it'll come up with information about your company on there. And so we're very happy that FinTech has jumped off and become such a successful society for us. And appreciate all the leadership again, and thanks for being here today. I know you have a good program in store. So with that, it's my job to call on Tim Mills, who's a senior practice expert at McKinsey & Company Global Concepts Office, and he's going to be your moderator for today. Tim?